of the internet forums, the Irish Republican Bulletin Board, during the Christmas swim, and where you know, one of the people on there started a
it'd be like an open-ended pledge drive.
Right.
It initially started out with now this is the name of the form would be the IRBB, the Irish Republican Bulletin Board. You can do a search and see on it. There's lots of good discussion on it and on all kinds of aspects of activism and Irish history, the language, etc. But a member during the run-up to the Christmas season decided to do something, and to help out. And what she did was an initial pledge of $20 per swimmer, and that built its way up to what some people were putting in $100 per
gained
swimmer.
A lot of
and different people were putting different money in it, but it was very, very successful. And again, thank you to all who took part in that, because it's very important. We also, where I say we have to do political activist support in helping the prisoners and getting the word out on what their struggle is. But as Brian had just said earlier, the dependence of these prisoners, and sometimes it's many times, more times than not, it's the main breadwinner of the household, has been taken away from them. And there's children at home, and there's bus rides that need to be organized, and traveling up to the Midlands, to Port or to Maghaberry in the north. These things have to be taken care of, and Cower is a group that helps alleviate some of the financial strain that these families face, and that's where that money went. As with all the money that's raised through the IRPS campaign of the National Irish Freedom Committee, it goes directly to Cower, which is then done out to the dependents of prisoners.
Sure, and again, guys, you can go to www.irishfreedom.net to find more information about the Irish Republican Political Activist Support Campaign.
And all the other campaigns as well.
And all the other campaigns too, but they also have, you know, the booklet on there, the page for the month for the Cower Monthly Sustainer. And it's kind of like a payment booklet thing where you have each month you can tear a page out and send in your donation, whatever you can. And this money really, really does help the families. And, you know, we really need your support.
And it's desperately needed, to be honest. I mean, the families do need it and need this help. And as he said, it doesn't have to be, don't think you have to be Donald Trump rich guy and give $100 or anything, or $50, $5, $10, $15 a month can make the change in an important way.
Absolutely. And well, you know, one of the reasons why we started this this video series also was to talk about you know, of course, events that don't get media attention, things that are censored or just ignored by the mainstream media or the you know, the governments here and in the Free State and up in the north. And you know, what we want to talk about, one of the mainstays of the NIFC is the Era Nua program. And the Era Nua program is a Irish-formulated proposal for a just and lasting peace in Ireland. And what Era Nua proposes, Pat, is like you see in the back here, it proposes a four-province Ireland, a federal Ireland, with devolution of power down to the local levels, very similar to what we have here in the United States. You know, and
or the Swiss system.
Or the Swiss system, actually, is actually modeled off of the Swiss system, you know, part of it. But Era Nua, there's obstacles to Era Nua. You know, number one, it's Irish formulated. A lot of the so-called peace initiatives that were formulated by the British and backed up by the Free State, you know, were done so because the Irish have created not just a solution, but a very viable solution, a solution that would work, and it's all-inclusive. When I say all-inclusive, it includes even the Loyalist and Unionist community, of course, because they are part of Ireland. And, you know, this agreement has been around for a long time, but because of censorship, because of, you know, British and Free State involvement in jettisoning this, you know, it's kind of been on the back burner. But
they've worked very hard to make sure people are unaware of the alternative that is available.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like in the United States, we part of the Era Nua campaign is the Visa Denial Repeal campaign. Since 1974, members of, you know, the Republican movement, Republican Sinn Féin, have been not denied entry, specifically Rory O'Brien, the president, to come here in the United States to talk to the American public about this viable solution. You know, and the NIFC, amongst other people and other activists, view this as a denial, you know, of our First Amendment
right
rights,
to hear
our right to hear information on foreign policy.
And to judge it on its own merit.
On its own merit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. What's happening is the British government and the Irish government are meddling in the rights through our government, are meddling in American rights to hear information concerning U.S. foreign policy on Ireland. And this is something that we're very, very strongly against, and we're pursuing this campaign diligently.
I would suggest people to read about Aranua first, of course, and to learn about it before you get involved. But even if you weren't supportive of the idea, which I don't understand why you wouldn't be, but if you weren't, you should be against the idea that it can't be discussed.
That you're being denied the information.
Or that it's ridiculous.
And our government is involved. They've been involved in Irish politics for a long, long time because of the strong, Irish voting bloc here in the United States. 30, 40 million, people of Irish descent here in the United States. But this stuff is kept from the people. Again, it's not in the mass media about people being denied the information on government policies, especially the foreign policy on Ireland. Yeah. And they're very, very afraid of Aranua because Aranua is based in truth, and they know when people hear this, the Good Friday Agreement would not stand up against it. And this is one of the reasons why Rory O'Brady, this man is an educator. He's been in the Republican movement for over half a century, and very educated man, very articulate, very well spoken, and
through his involvement in Aranua in the early, would you say, late 1960s, early 1970s.
Correct.
This is this is decades now. That this alternative, that peace was being an attempt to make peace has been working, and since that attempt, they've been quieted.
And you know what? Well, we talked about the time when we interviewed Rory O'Brady, the president of Sinn Féin, here on the show, and we talked about how the Irish Republican movement, the Army Council had actually chosen peace. They chose Aranua, knowing what they had dealt with over the last 50 years. They did not want to go to war. They chose peace. They chose Aranua and approved it. And Aranua was making strides.
It was making great headway
until the forces that had vested interest in the partition of Ireland and the status quo. Firstly, the Free State government, the Irish Free State government, and the British government. And by using people like Gerry Adams and Morton McGuinness and the rest of the hardcore provies, they were able to ostracize, if you will, the Republican movement and commandeer the Republican movement and steer it in the direction that it is now.
Into a non-Republican